Ghana has what it takes to be the best investment destination in Africa because it has favorable conditions which will aid investors to come up with appropriate production levels. We have abundant mineral resources. We have gold, manganese, diamond, and bauxite. Apart from that, of late, we have also discovered the existence of other minor minerals like copper, nickel, chromite, and uranium, and a few others. And our economy is good. We are politically stable, and I think that all the conditions that will support investors achieve their aim are available. In Ghana, I can say with confidence that our stability level in terms of our political situation is upright, and therefore there is no cause for alarm at all. We are extremely stable. Based on that alone, investors could be urged to show up in our country.
And you had something to do with agriculture at some point in time?
During the previous administration, I was the Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture. And indeed, my background is agriculture.
Well, it turns out that the current president, John Mahama, who was vice president when he visited Perth, Australia in 2011, when he came, he said that the strongest emphasis is being put on agriculture, that agriculture is the way forward. Would you say it is still the point?
Yes, it is the point. Even though if you look at the contribution of the sectors to the GDP, agriculture is number 3. But it is not strange because it is services that leads all the sectors with its contribution of about 50%. Industry is about 27.3%. Agriculture is about 22.7%. But if agriculture is third on the line, it is appropriate because it gives an indication that the industrial services is being fed with raw materials from agriculture.
And so what is investment in agriculture like at the moment? I'm aware that there was a palm oil conference in Accra sometime late 2012, and there was a representation of the Agriculture Ministry there, which you would have had a lot to do with. So what is investment like in agriculture in general, perhaps specifically in the palm oil industry?
The investment in palm oil industry is huge because we have a project that is directly responsible for the extension and integration of palm oil production into the entire agricultural value chain. So the investment in the palm production is high, and we have a concentration in the western, central, and eastern regions. And the entire value chain is being enhanced.
What should investors be aware of when they have to come to Ghana? And I ask because, as you can see, coming to a different country, namely Australia, the way people see things here are different from the way you do things in Ghana. So what are some of the things they should be aware of in order not to have too much of a surprise?
I believe that when we are looking at agriculture in its entirety in Ghana, the problem is much more associated with processing because production by itself is not too much of a problem. What we find ourselves in is that when we produce a lot and we don't have facilities to process, a lot of our products go waste. So investors who are desirous of investing in agriculture should focus more on processing. I think if we have enough processing facility, that alone will serve as a motivating factor for farmers to go into production.
Okay, and just coming back to your current portfolio, being the lands and natural resources, it is thought that you have a lot, right? And yet, the biggest problem is the fact that it's not being managed properly. Why do you think Ghana has such significant problem with proper resource management?
As far as I know, the management of the resources, since I went to that sector, it's not in question at all. The problem has to do with the fact that people enter into the sector illegally. Especially, we have a lot of our indigents going into mining without recourse to licensing. About a year ago or so, a lot of the Chinese were invited into Ghana. They were attracted by our own people to Ghana to go into illegal small-scale mining, and that brought about a lot of degradation in our system. Had it not been the intervention of His Excellency the President, I believe that more than a third of the country will have been degraded. So it is not the management of the resources per se, but the question has to do with the people respecting the legal framework in that sector.
When you have a legal framework and you have a people not respecting it, surely you have mechanisms that take care of it so that you don't feel its impact to the point where it seems like it is not being properly managed. So what is being done to ensure that even though some people are not respecting the legal framework, you still will keep your focus in terms of the management to ensure a country gets the most benefit out of it?
I think it is now the focus of His Excellency the President. And as you may have been told, about 3 months ago, His Excellency the President constituted an interministerial task force to clamp down on illegal small-scale mining. So as I talk with you now, the entire Chinese group who were involved in illegal small-scale mining has been completely wiped out. And our own people who have also been doing illegal small-scale mining are now being educated to regularize the operations so that the illegality will be a thing of the past.
And someone would say, we've heard things like that before.
Ghanaians are testimonies to what I am saying. If you have links in Ghana, you will be told that the number of people engaged in illegal small-scale mining has been toned down completely. It has reduced from, say, 100% to about 10%, and we are still on them. And I believe that within the shortest possible time, we will be able to clear them completely from their modus operandi.
And that brings me to another point regarding your own function as a minister and as a member of parliament. And the question has long been standing. Being a member of parliament is a full-time job, yes, and being a deputy minister is a full-time job. How do you juggle both?
To be very sincere with you, it has not been easy. But I have been able to manage my time in such a way that I am able to combine the two. What I do is that I have apportioned my time into 3. A third for parliamentary responsibilities, a third for the ministry, and a third for the constituency. So what I do every day is that I go to the office very early. I spend about 3 hours before I go for parliamentary proceedings, after which I come back to the office. And every 3 weeks, I go to my constituency and spend at least 3 days. That is during the weekends. It has not been easy, but that is the way I have been putting things together.
And it appears you would continue to be able to put things together that way for a few more years at least, because a couple of days ago, the Supreme Court ruled that you can remain in your office along with primarily President John Mahama. How did that ruling, the decision, come to you, especially since you were so far away in Australia when the decision came down?
Yeah, as you may be aware, I have been a member of parliament since 2001. Unfortunately for me, in 2009, I was appointed by His Excellency Professor G. A. as a Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture. So I played the double role of a minister, a deputy minister, and then a member of parliament. And I think that I can tell my success story. And with this current ruling, which goes in favor of the ruling government, I think that it is in the right direction. And even though I knew, I was very certain that the ruling was going to be in favor of my party, I was still in doubt because I am not a legal practitioner. So there were some difficulty as to how the ruling will go. So when I heard that it has been ruled in favor of my party, I was very much enthused.
How did you celebrate?
Since I am far away from Ghana, there was very little I could do because I was completely taken up by the activities of the conference. But even if I had been in Accra, I wouldn't have celebrated because I wouldn't like to create a situation where there will be some tension between the two opposing parties.
Is that to suggest like the president and Akufo-Addo, you're looking at it as a victory for Ghana?
Exactly so. I personally, I have objected to a situation where one party will celebrate against the other. Because as you rightly indicated, it is a victory for the entire country. So there is no point for one party to be jubilating as opposed to the other. So there is no point in any group of people engaging themselves in any jubilation.
So what do you foresee of your administration, the NDC administration, for the next few years that it is in power in achieving the better Ghana agenda?
Yes, I think that Ghana is for us all. Be you from the ruling NDC party or any other party, Ghana is for us all. So I think what we need to do is to bring everybody on board so that together we can move the nation forward. I think the policies the government has put in place, if well implemented, will be able to push Ghana forward. But NDC alone cannot single-handedly push it forward. We have to bring each and every one, be you from that party or not, as I've said already, so that we can together move it forward.
And since you have come all the way to Australia and going back, I want to ask you, what are you taking back after this few days attending this Africa Down Under conference? What are you taking back to Ghana?
Thank you very much. My main role as a participant or a presenter was to market my country to the delegates and all those who matter in the conference. I have done exactly that. Apart from that, I have met with about 8 mining companies. I also visited the Department of Mining and Minerals. And I had a lot of lectures from there. So I have studied a lot, I've gained a lot, and I have a lot of documentations to be sent to my people so that together we can share the ideas that they have brought together.